Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Apex irons from Callaway.
Scottie, for the third consecutive year, enters the Tour Championship at #1 in the FedEx Cup standings. Scottie, obviously a great year this year with 6 victories and the addition of the gold medal at the Olympic Games. Can we just get an opening comment from you on your return here to Eastlake?
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back in a nice position going into the week. It's good to be back here at Eastlake. You know, it's obviously everybody's goal at the beginning of the year is to have a chance, and going in the first spot, you know, no better opportunity than where I'm sitting. So I'm looking forward to the week.
All right, we'll take some questions out here. If you have a question, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with Mark in the front.
Scottie, what are your thoughts on the renovation? What do you like about it? Maybe not.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, it's a basically new golf course from what it was before. It's not really at all the same. The greens, since they're new, are extremely firm, which I think makes it more challenging. It'll be tough to access some of the hole locations, and I think that we'll have a bit to learn in terms of golf course setup. But overall, we'll see how it plays. It's so new right now that it's really hard to tell exactly how. All I know is it's a way different.
Other questions? Scott?
Do some of the new grasses and the fact that it is a completely different sort of test now benefit you a little bit over what it's been in the past?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially a golf course I always really liked. I felt like I hadn't played my best golf here, and so coming here this year, seeing a fresh golf course that I think is going to be really challenging, I think will suit me pretty well out there.
Steve, all the way to the right.
Yeah, Scottie, having left here the last 2 years in the same position without winning it, what were your emotions and feelings at the ends of otherwise very successful seasons, and what might you do differently now to flip the switch?
Hopefully just make a few more birdies. More birdies and bogeys typically helps, you know, low scores. As far as the tournament goes, you know, treating it like every other event, you know, not focusing on the starting strokes or anything like that, just going out there and trying to execute and do my best, and not really thinking too much about the results.
Got one in the back there.
Hey, Scottie. Andrew Green obviously revamped Oak Hill PGA Championship last year. Do you see any similarities to Oak Hill from a year ago as to what you've seen already out there on the course?
Yeah, I think with the contours of the greens and the way he shapes the greens, a little bit more boxy, and definitely the way he shapes some of the bunkers around the greens too, you can definitely see a lot of the similarities. Like, I felt like I could have looked at the yardage book from this golf course and known exactly who did the redo.
Rex?
What was the most surprising? Anything just stand out to you as far as the golf course goes when you saw it for the first time?
Really, the thing that was most different is the firmness of the greens. Just typically, most of the greens out here slope back to front, and you were all into the grain, and so you weren't really playing for a lot of balance on many of these holes unless you're in a really, really long club in. And now, I mean, they are extremely firm, you know, especially the par threes. The par threes, I think, provide the most challenge because the run-ups to the short of the greens are still fairly soft, and so if you landed short, it's probably not going to be bouncing up, and if you land on the green, it kind of just hits and goes, and so there's going to be a real challenge to that. You're going to have to hit some shots that are pretty extraordinarily high in order to hold these greens.
I know we talked last week about Hideki having to withdraw with injury. Can you just talk about how difficult it is coming to the end of a long season? It seems like everyone is dealing with something.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think everybody's dealing with a little something at the end of the year. Like you said, it's been a long season, especially now with the way the new schedule is. It really is a sprint to get here. You know, there's not really places in the schedule to take large breaks. You know, you have the beginning of the year where you're kind of getting, you know, warmed up in a sense, even though you pretty much got to start the year ready to go. But then, you know, March you have the Players, April Masters, May PGA, June U.S. Open, July you have the Open Championship, and then you come to August and you got the FedEx Cup playoffs. So there's really not a time of the year where you're taking a break until, for us, after either the President's Cup or Ryder Cup. And so it definitely is a lot of a sprint, and I'm sure people got little aches and pains, but, you know, didn't play all year to just get tired at Eastlake and kind of just throw in the towel. So, you know, it's good competition this week. I think the golf course is going to be pretty challenging, and it should be a fun week.
What was your first impression of the new Eastlake?
It's just new.
It's firm, it's fast, needs to settle in. It's a very brand new. I'm not huge in agronomy, but I've played some new courses before, and they just play. They're a little bouncy, and however it was designed to be played, it's going to be a little bit different, for the first 2 years, just because it hasn't settled in.
Steve?
Yeah, Xander, given your record here, was there any part of you who wanted to maybe throw yourself in front of a bulldozer here and stop all this?
100%, yeah.
And
absolutely. My caddy as well. He probably would have gone first.
And what? How does this? I mean, your record here is better than anyone's. How does this affect that now?
It's just a new golf course. I've kind of a half glass half full guy, so I've played a lot of new courses this year that I've done okay at, and this is a brand new property. It's literally the bunkers are new, the grass is new in the fairways, the greens are new, the greens on the grass on the greens are new, the runouts are different, the slopes are different. I think the only thing that's the same are the directions of the hole. So whatever record I had is the past. I have no memory or anything really on any hole to go off of. Not even the tree I could aim at that I used to aim at. It's just that different. So to me, it's got the same name. It's East Lake Golf Club. It's in the same property, similar square footage, but that's about it.
Kathy?
Do you find that you'll be hitting longer clubs into the green? For instance, Victor Hovland was telling us he hit, I think it was 2 clubs longer, certainly 1, into the first hole.
Yeah.
Do you do that on any other holes?
You try not to.
I understand.
I'm trying to think. They made 14 a par 5 this year, so that's longer, but it's a par 5 now versus a par 4, and I can't think off the top of my head, but there's a few fairway bunkers at about 300 or 305 yards that if I'm feeling good, I'm definitely going to try and take a big wipe over them, because it's a big advantage to come into the green with a club that's spinning versus bouncing around.
That was kind of the point of my question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you please pass it to Alex Myers right in front of you with Alex? Thank you.
Hey, Xander. It looked like you spent a lot of time in the 18th fairway kind of assessing the options, and then you noticed that Scottie and Sam looked like they were kind of playing up 10. I wonder, is that something that you've thought about, and how much trickier is that hole going to play this year?
Yeah, I hit 2 drives up 10, actually. I just didn't go and hit them or collect them. Didn't hit the fairway, so it's, I spent time trying to hit balls out of the rough into that little sliver of a fairway for the layup area. I tried to, hit some drives over the tree over on the 18th tee, I guess, that tree right there. It's a really small fairway. It's just plain and simple. It kind of cambers right down the middle, too. So if your ball's turning too much one way or the other, it might roll into the rough. And if you're going into the rough, I don't think anyone on this property can hold a green hitting a lob wedge or sand wedge out of the rough into the green, unless it's a really long one that I haven't seen or with a backstop. But you need to be in the fairway to do some damage out here.